First up, we have a presentation from EL8 Uranium with the ticker code EL8. EL8 has significant resources in Namibia and Australia, and is making new discoveries through active exploration campaigns. Murray, I'll hand over to you.
Thanks, Jane, and that was very insightful to listen to Guy in particular, and a few of our comments as well. EL8 Uranium is a geographically diverse uranium company, 2 jurisdictions, Namibia and Australia. We've got 115 million pounds of global resources in both of those countries. We've got an extensive and now diverse pipeline of projects coming on stream, and we've got our patented upgrade process, which I alluded to in innovations discussion, which markedly reduces capital and operating costs for superficial styles of ores. We're aggressively drilling in Namibia on the Copies project. We've got 4 discoveries in the last 4 years. We've got a small but dedicated and experienced team running this project, running this company. And as you've said to me, Jane, what better time to be in the uranium industry? And from a corporate point of view, for an ASX listed company, we've got a small number of shares on issue, 278 million. I like to refer to the debt. There's 0 debt in our company. As of the end of June, we had $10.1 million in the bank, which is a great position to be in. We're burning about $700,000 a month on our exploration program. We think we're undervalued, like every other ASX's company, anybody that presents, relative to the uranium spot price. Our share price hasn't moved with it, although of late it has a bit. And our shareholders distributed quite evenly, and the 2 ETFs, some of the two of our highest shareholders. So Namibia is the first place we're focused on. Why are we here? We're here because it's a uranium mining jurisdiction. Rossing have been operating in country since 1976, so 47 years of continuous operating in the country. Very supportive government. And what we're looking for paleo channels where uranium's leached or weathered out of the granites over millions of years and flowed down through old river systems, which are now called paleo channels. They've all covered over, difficult to find. We use electromagnetics to locate them. But most of these are in, these old paleo channels, generally less than 25 metres deep. So we're not talking 200, 300, 400 metres deep like a lot of people are in other parts of the world. These are really shallow deposits, which are right next to surface. So we're the largest tenement holder for nuclear fuels in Namibia. We're actively exploring, as I said, 4 recent discoveries. The Namib area is where we focused a lot of our attention at the moment, and particularly the Copies project. We focused our attention here and built up this contiguous land position because we have 270 million pound of resources downstream of where we are. So just moving upstream from those on the thesis that I talked about before of uranium flowing through these old paleo channels and flowing into these other deposits. So Copies is the project that we've got 3 drill rigs working on now. We discovered this project in July of 2019. Within the first 3 years of tenure, we estimated a resource of 20 million pound. That's unprecedented in the country. No one's done it that quickly before. And what we also realised that we've got mineralisation over 20 kilometres along this tenement and the next tenement. So those 3 drill rigs we've got are working Monday to Friday. They're drilling 5 holes per day each. Each hole is 25 metres deep. Each hole is RC and costs us $1,000 to drill. So we're drilling 75 holes a week with 3 drill rigs. That's a lot of holes, and I don't think you'll hear too many people say that to you in any presentations, Jane. But over this 20-kilometre strike length, there's a lot of holes to drill. So what we're expecting out of this is we've got a resource update around the Copies 3 area in the end of this month, and then another one around Copies 2 South and Copies 4 in the coming quarter, next Q1 next year. So there's a lot of news flow coming out of it, but we're also got a lot of exploration to do in Namibia. As the largest tenement holder, we've got more and more drilling to do and exploration, and hopefully our success will continue. In Australia, we've got assets in the Northern Territory and Western Australia. The focus has been on the Northern Territory. Unfortunately, when we acquired these assets, it was just before the world went into lockdown and we were unable to move too far. So it's only just recently we've been able to get out on the ground We've done some geochem work, and we've done some seismic work at Angela and Minerva. We want to follow up the Angela seismic work. We believe there's a potential for another lens underneath the current mineralised lens, so we're going to go and drill that. And also the Minerva deposit was discovered in 1978 with vertical drill holes. No one's drilled on it since. There's 10 holes with grades in excess of 10,000 ppm, so very high grades for Australia. We need to follow that up. So we've got a bit of work to do on the Australian assets as well as the Namibian assets. But one of the things I alluded to in my discussion, in my questions, was innovation. And one thing we have been is innovative, not just in the way we explore, but now in the way that we've developed this process called upgrade. It's a process whereby we've looked at all the minerals present in these official ores in Namibia, and we've determined that the best way to concentrate the uranium is by rejecting the gangue minerals, as opposed to, if you focus on uranium only, you don't get a very good result. Whereas if you just reject gangue minerals that cause you the problems on the way through, it's reverse concentration. So it's using commonly used unit operations. You'd find a gold, a base metal, a mineral sands plant, but then you figure them in an unconventional manner, which makes it innovative and patentable. So we have 3 patents around the world on this process. So what it does, rejecting gangue minerals all the way through, we end up with a less than 5% of the mass that goes to the leach circuit. So as you can imagine, you're rejecting mass all the way through. Your unit operations are getting smaller and smaller. Hence, your capital cost is dropping. Your OPEX is dropping. So, we believe that from the work we've done to date, that we can reduce the CapEx by 50% compared to conventional processing, and the OPEX by 50% compared to conventional processing. So that's a significant reduction. And what it means is we can develop projects that others can't, right? And that's that innovative aspect we talked about. So, and the less than 5% of the mass of concentrate gives us optionality. We could leach in a very small leach circuit, by the way, and refine to produce yellowcake. Or alternatively, we can take our concentrate to a third party. They could leach it and refine it for us. Or alternatively, we have a project like Safe Copies that's got a large resource in it that could have a refinery on it. We could bring concentrate in from Hirabeb or Namib 4 or other projects we've got. So it really brings our projects closer together. And the other innovative aspect of this is it produces a calcite concentrate that could be used to neutralise acid leaching tailings. So there's a huge number of environmental benefits, which I won't go into now. And the other innovative nature of what we're doing is we're looking at using a surface miner to mine the ore. So it's cutting at half a metre in depth. It runs out, it comes out the back of the machine, drops onto a truck and goes straight into our process. It avoids drill and blast. It avoids crushing in the processing plant. So another significant amount of benefits, which lowers the cost base. So really significant impact of us and was a catalyst for us to grow the company. And that innovative aspect we talked about is so important in going forward. So just in summary, I know how little time you've given me, Jane. So we're geographically diverse, in 2 good mining jurisdictions, and Namibia is fantastic with having uranium mining for 47 years. That's 2 generations of Namibians that are familiar with uranium mining. They're not scared by very, very comfortable with it. 115 million pound of global resources and growing. Expect that to grow this month and then Q1 next year, and then following through drilling next year. And then we've got that pipeline we talked about. I haven't been able to talk about them all, Jane. We've got so many to talk about. But with 4 discoveries in Namibia in the last 4 years, add to the Marinika project over there, which has got 61 million pound. We've got a pipeline of projects coming on. Our upgrade process is very disruptive and innovative and extremely value additive for us. Drilling aggressively now, and 75 holes a week from 3 drill rigs is something you wouldn't hear in the uranium industry, and you don't hear in the uranium industry. And a team that are very experienced in uranium, been around for a long time. I've been at the helm of this company for over 11 years. So I've ridden the lows and the $18 a pound that Guy talked about. That's when we were counter-cyclical and building our asset base back then. And what a great time to be in uranium. We've heard everybody talk about it this morning or today, or wherever you are listening. The supply demand is compelling. So we're expecting that the uranium price is going to continue to move north and incentivize new production. And I finish on the desert in Namibia. That's where we are. The background of the image I am is the Copies project. It's not difficult to explore in this environment. So thanks very much for your time, Jane, and thanks for the people that are listening.
Thank you for that, Murray. So as we know, Namibia is obviously a very important jurisdiction for uranium, given the several big players in the country. Can you give us a little bit more information on the scale of the projects in Namibia and the location?
Well, Rossing, as I said, been there for 47 years, continuously operating. I think the longest continuously operating uranium mine in the world. That's in the order of, I think it's 14 million tonne per annum processing plant. Husab was developed 5-6 years ago, a similar size, a nameplate of 15 million tonne per annum. They're both predominantly Chinese owned now, different Chinese companies. Orano's Trikopi project, they built a 38 million tonne per annum heap leach racetrack operation. The heap leach pads are 3 kilometres long, enormous, 15 kilometres of conveyors on it. So we're talking about large scale, lower grade. I mean, that's the thing. People talk about the grades of Athabasca, but the complexity of the Athabasca Basin is, a lot of weather for one thing. You can only drill for 6 months of the year. As you can see in the background, you can drill for 12 months of the year in Namibia. So the grades are lower in Namibia, but it's a bulk scale, bulk mining operation and shallow. So, when we're talking about less than 20 or 25 metres deep for a drill hole, we're pushing it deeper than it needs to be. So, yeah, there's some big players in Namibia, and there's certainly some great projects. It's the only country, in the world that has a dedicated uranium association. The Namibian Uranium Association are a conduit between explorers, developers, producers, and the public, the government, stakeholders. They come to the conference that Guy talks about in November. They come to the 2019 one and present it on the model that we use in Namibia. So, a bit of a leader, really, in the uranium industry.
Murray, that kind of answers the next question just about the political stability in Namibia, especially given what's happened in Niger over the past few days, actually, in fact. But do you want to just reiterate the political stability in Namibia?
Yeah, look, it's very stable and a very supportive government. One thing we get a bit confused about is some people think Africa is a country. Africa is a huge continent with a large number of countries and quite a diverse. Niger, you can't compare to the Congo. You can't compare it to Namibia. Namibia is a fantastic place. I've taken my kids and wife there for a whole day, self-drive tour. Kids absolutely loved it. But yeah, very politically stable and also accessible government. We meet with the minister regularly, meet with the mining commissioner, have a very good relationship with the government, and just making sure they understand what we're doing and we understand what they want out of us as well.
Thanks, Murray. And just finally then, so shareholders, what can we look forward to over the next 3 to 6 months?
We can look forward to enormous growth in our resource at Copies. We've got drilling occurring there now through to the end of the year. Come next year, we'll start drilling we'll continue drilling at Copies, but we'll also take our drill rigs to other projects, other discoveries we've got. We're looking at, Australian assets and what we can do there. And by then, of course, as Guy talks about, uranium prices are probably going to be $100 a pound in 6 months' time, Jane. So we're all going to be smiling even bigger than we are now, and feeding off our success. So we're obviously like everyone else. We leverage the uranium price, but as one of the most active exploration companies on the ASX in the uranium industry, we're leveraged all our activities. Increasing our resource base, our drilling success we've had to date, and we've got a history of success there with 4 discoveries in 4 years. So I think shareholders can expect a lot out of us in that period of time.
Wonderful. Well, Murray, thank you for joining us again today. And if we've missed any of your questions, please feel free to reach out via the contact details, which can be found on the bottom of the ASX releases. But Murray,
Thanks, John. Thank you.